ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined at the desk today by Jeff Zeta Schnurr, as we're ready to rock and roll with some more League of Legends playoffs action here for JV1. We are in the spring playoffs. That means we got University of Maryland, Baltimore County coming up against the University of Ottawa. One of these names we hear a lot in collegiate League of Legends. The other one, perhaps a newcomer.
Now, the thing is, I hear in collegiate League of Legends, I hear a lot of names. I honestly don't hear either of these that often. One of them I hear a couple times. You know, it does happen. But the other one, we'll start with the one you might have heard of, right? We'll start with University of Ottawa, Division B. This is their JV squad, of course. They beat 2 Queen teams in a row. They beat Guelph 2-0. Guelph is a returning collegiate perennial of C-Star League streams, of course. And then lost to Carleton. Carleton is, they've been here, they've been there, they've won a couple games, they've lost a couple. Meant that they had to go on and play some more games, of course. Yeah, if we take a look at how their second half did, their winter season, so to speak, they did pretty cleanly in that one.
Yeah, all up until Cal Poly Palmona. I believe that's CPP we're talking about here. Did take them on down in a 2-0 fashion there, so a loss to get the end. Stings, but you know what? You still made it to playoffs. You still made it this far. And that means you get to come up against University of Maryland, Baltimore County. It's Division 2B. We'll see their record thus far. Also, obviously good enough for playoffs. They made it here. St. Peter's, a couple wins over each of those. Lost to UMBC, their sister team, the A team, taking that one out. As well as UD VGTC JV. Really could not tell you what that means if you paid me. I'm not sure which school that is. Perhaps Delaware, somebody in there, or Detroit. I don't know.
VGTC.
Yeah.
Acronyms are escaping me at this point, but they did make it to round of 64. I'm surprised we don't have their data on round of 32, where they did end up falling, but we do have their round of 64 at the very least. So, show you guys that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And beating a UCLA team,
they got to the round of 64 at the Fall Invitational. That's farther than the last squad that we just saw. That had a rather commanding victory, to say the least.
Absolutely, and so we talk about these being 2 smaller teams that we don't know as much of. Here's the power rankings to run it down yet again. Johns Hopkins sitting at the top, SUNY Buffalo and Manitoba not far behind. Then UCF, Robert Morris, and Berkeley all holding out the middle. Towards the bottom, it's Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Oregon, Washington, and Missouri State, keeping that one all on lockdown. Those are our top 10. Baltimore County and Ottawa, maybe not names you would think to see there. Hoping to get out of that top 64 then. Top 32, then guess what? Hey, after just a couple of series, you're knocking on the door. You're in the top 16. That's just outside of those rankings. So both of these teams looking to do that. One of them, of course, will be moving on to the round of 32 today, and we'll get into that in just a quick second. Do, of course, have to make an announcement. The last time for February, it is the 28th, the last day, which means if you follow at C-Star League and at CSLLOL, retweet the tweet with this picture in it, you're going to be in the raffle to win. Winners chosen at the end of February. That means today, or just thereafter, we'll be giving somebody this Lee Sin statue and somebody this arcade hoodie. Get some swag for you all there. And speaking of swag, we are ready to get on in to draft number 1 between these 2 teams. Excited to see who's going to be able to be the threat presence on the Rift here. Who's going to be able to take it all away. Baltimore County coming up now against University of Ottawa. Ottawa on the red side there. Baltimore County will be the blue team, UMBC. Impure. And it's a vein ban right off the rip.
Not UBC, which
UMBC.
we just saw. Remember, it's UMBC.
Did I make the?
And not UBC M, right? Because there's also Manitoba in British Columbia. Anyway,
right.
Besides the point, we have a lot of teams with the same sort of letters, but this one is a little bit special because first time we've seen them on stream, so we'll have to see what they bring to the table. I'm expecting, of course, priority towards this top side of the map, right? There we go. York ban, straight up. That's pretty expected, I would say, just given how often York has played, and a little bit of respect to Vi. I guess I would say that as the W is silent, obviously. In that sense, I'd say there's a lot to go here, right? They still need to lock down a jungler. They still need to get an AD. Both of those having been banned out by the side of UMBC. I mean, Ottawa are starting to get pinched very slightly at the corners of their pools. The Ivor in return, though, it's a pretty good one, right? You take away someone's strongest champion, especially one that they've been practicing a lot with, they're going to feel the pressure. So now the time comes. Which team has deeper pools, deeper pockets with which to store their pocket picks? You know, these are the times that you want to bring out the specialty, the real spice, you know, to get these games in your pan.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams try to hold their secret sauce for the finals, but at the end of the day, plenty of teams make the same mistake of really not pulling out all the stops. Ready to get on stream and end up a little bit misconstrued there, but this is the time to just start placing every bet on your composition, on your play style, and then tweaking the executions instead of just hoping to have some pocket pick that does save you at the end of the day. Well, this time the Yasuo, the first thing to come out, very top of the order here for the likes of UMBC. Let's see what Ottawa do respond with now as they get the classic 1-2 punch that is the red side. Kind of shape this up just a little bit. Ezreal, no huge surprises there. He's been in contention for a lot of the series we've seen thus far. We saw a good amount of him this past Tuesday coming out and through the series between British Columbia when they played him quite a bit, and Emery. This time, the support coming right on through. What's it going to be? Nami on the table, the Zyra. Wouldn't be surprised to see something a little bit more aggressive coming out, and they don't actually go for the support. Instead, they opt for the Rek'Sai. So Teko there, going to be picking that one up for himself, and curious to see the way that one manifests.
Yeah, and I'd have to expect that they are going to pick. Let's talk about the Rek'Sai first, right? Before we go on to predictions, because specifically the Rek'Sai, I've been hearing a lot of talk from some junglers about how much they are liking Rek'Sai again, right? It's been out of the meta. New Conquer changes, bam, Rek'Sai. Just instantly she shows up again. Does super well in solo queue, admittedly, and they're all still a bit hesitant, you know? Some of these are former Rek'Sai mains, former Rek'Sai players, master tier guys, and they're all thinking, you know, this is good, but is it good enough? We'll have to see if Tecco has what it takes, because Sejuani and Zoe and Yasuo, certainly a team to beat coming out from UMBC already. Ottawa are going to answer back, most likely with the support, something that can lock down the Yasuo, prevent him. Alistar pick away or ban here would be ideal. I'd like to see the Thresh pick up maybe, and then an Alistar ban, but they're going to go with the Zed. This is a hard attempt to counter the Zoe.
Yeah, this is pretty aggressive. I actually like what I'm seeing from ZoMG Turkey here. See if he can avoid the Thanksgiving feast this time around. Get that presidential pardon that he's looking for and stick it to Soon in this mid lane here. Zoe into Zed. Very tricky run through all things considered. So now we're in the next round of the bans. It's going to come through the Nami. They know they can start to focus the support pool just a little bit harder. This bot lane is what's left undrafted, trapped, and E-Girl One Trick, the two that need to be. So it's like trapped 7x. I was thinking of the other metalish band there. But no, did come through with the Nami band. Victor on the side. That's an interesting band. They don't want to see the Victor top lane, I suppose, against the Yasuo, so that's what they take that one out for. And knowing the Zed's already picked up huge crazy plays there. With the Lulu taken out, it's all support focus. E-Girl One Trick, you know, that could be, if really living up to the name, if they just have one support player they play, banning out the first and second string, that can get really rough really quickly with Lissandra the next ban, so they must know something I don't here if they're continuing to ban these ones out.
This is certainly going to be a very interesting pick here after that last ban, but okay, they're going with the Karma, a little bit more traditional. It pokes people out very well.
See if they opt back for it. The Leona actually, no, yeah.
They thought about the karma. They thought about it.
They dipped a toe right back in that water for quite a second, didn't they? Well, I don't hate the Leona here, because you talked about a support like an Alistar that could lock down the Yasuo, right? Leona at least can do that if you can flash in close enough. You know, the ultimate is not going to be bothered by that wind wall. I actually don't know if the E is. Do you know if that gets blocked by wind wall, or does it pass right through?
So the E of Leona, if I recall correctly, now stops at wind wall.
Okay.
It used to go over it. I believe it stops. I could be wrong. Let me just make sure, because I don't actually know that off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's something because I remember it being one way, and then at least a discussion was happening that they were going to change it, or it had been changed in full effect. But
like
way,
Leona E does not get blocked currently.
Alive. Okay, so yeah, that's actually a better pick than thinking into the likes of it, and so.
No, it says Leona E is that it is blocked. Huh.
Interesting. Okay. Well, with the Yasuo going to be here in the bottom lane now as the AD pick for UMBC here. That's a big pickup, and maybe some nice counterplays. They draft the Karma as well. That will be their support at the end of the day. It means Kled is in the top lane. They did not opt for the Yasuo top. Not against Poppy. The last pick there for University of Ottawa. They picked that one up for themselves. So those two bans, they must have thought Zed was just going elsewhere to ban Victor and Lissandra. Feels like a little bit thrown away there in this later portion of the draft phase. But regardless, we'll see how it all does pan out for them here. Two strong teams that can definitely beat up on each other pretty well. We'll see if Baltimore County can make a strong showing their first day on stream for us here. If Ottawa are going to be, keeping that Canadian pride alive. It's certainly been a force to be reckoned with in previous CSL seasons. So we'll see whether or not they can keep those dreams alive, keep things moving and grooving for themselves, as we are just about ready to load on the Rift for game number 1. Yes, indeed. Again, is University of Ottawa there. We got to refit this, actually. Sorry, hang on. Thought we did this all again on the front end, and lo and behold, here we are yet again. So this will sort itself out for us pretty soon as we're getting that ready to schmosey on. In the meantime, looks like a pretty standard start across the board. Nothing too crazy happening here.
We'll have to see exactly when this breaks down. But realistically, we're going to get into the first game, and the predictions, I think, are going to be a little bit surprising. UMBC, no name of a team. Most people haven't heard of them. They are looking like they have a really strong composition right now. The Zoe is super good. I like the Yasuo in this scenario. I don't think that the Leona is always fantastic in him. It does decently at poking out, but the Karma, this is what turns the bottom lane. And so Zoe into Zed might be one way or the other. It's a pretty 50-50 lane in terms of who's going to come out on top, who's going to actually just hard win it. UMBC, though, I think have a slight edge. Top lane, of course, going to be one to watch, and where Tekko goes on this Rek'Sai. If he can have a massive impact, of course, Ottawa are going to do fantastically because the jungler does still matter. It's not Season 4. He matters a heck of a lot.
Yeah, that jungle pressure, that priority. Rek'Sai, not the best start on jungler, and takes a little while to get rolling, but if you can get that champion where it needs to be, it can certainly feel good. It's going to lack the team fighting utility that Aged Wizard is going to be able to bring on this Sejuani here, and the team fight is going to be so important for this composition for Baltimore County. Whether or not Ottawa can kind of hold on, that's what's going to get tricky, because the Ezreal in team fights, there are some discussions to be had around that. It's going to be made up for in the fact that Leona, a fantastic team fighting support, whereas Karma doesn't exactly bring that same utility to the table. But it feels like this Ottawa composition is more geared around getting picks. And speaking of, wow, Tekko. just bloodying the nose of Aged Wizard that quickly. Says no chance for you this time around. With Scarl's out of the picture now. Tekko's over the wall. Y could be in some trouble here. That's a nice knock-up, and that's going to be first blood coming out. University of Ottawa. Tekko gets that one for himself.
This is already starting to shape up to be not exactly as my prediction had gone, right? That was a very, very quick kill. The Poppy outplaying the Kled. Ugh, so many K champions in the game, so little time. The Kled not having a chance to fight back at all, but that's just raw 1v1, right? That's... I'm
really
kidding.
Was, yeah. It was very well done. I mean, the gank from
raw
Tekko,
1v1. It wasn't raw 1v1.
Well,
but,
so the gank from Tekko was important. It certainly secured that one, but I don't think there was any situation in which Y was going to trade out well enough against Groose to...
No, not to go even, but he might have escaped without it. Again, we're talking about jungle impact, we're talking about pressure and pathing. It's a very early topside path from the Rek'Sai, enables him to be up there. That's the reason they actually are able to get the kill, right? Rai, maybe he can make a change, you know, he can step back a bit more, not get ganked so much, but because of just the fact that there was a jungler there, there's really no chance for him to actually live out. No heal on this Yasuo. Keep in mind, this is an exhaust and an ignite. There's no heal on either champion, no barrier either, so the survivability is going to be low, but with him dodging out those E's, it should still be relatively okay. We'll have to look and see in just a bit if that lane pans out any different.
The wind wall going to be something to take into factor here, as we might have a gank coming about ready for Aged Wizard. Is spotted out, but still gets the beat up pretty well and forces the Ezreal Arcane Shift out of that one, but maybe worse, it's a nice wind wall to save his own bacon there, but now Fizzbean trying to get in for a little bit more, actually finds it with just the lance through, doesn't even need the follow-up to get the kill, and Aged Wizard finds a death, the second one thus far, maybe more to come as soon as in a little bit of trouble. Turkey didn't have the ult to follow that up through with just yet, still a little low on the experience count this particular game, but keeping things moving and grooving in the right direction. Mid lane, pretty dead even in CS, but Turkey, this Zed, ready to just fight it, duke it out wherever he needs to, and now why? The top side, Scarless yet again. No flash for Bruce, at least.
Still pressuring. The Karma now answering back with a little more damage. The Kled completely under turret. Watch this dive. He could actually die right here.
Oh man, Bruce finds it out beautifully, and the minions make it hard for him to get out without taking that second tower shot, but it's not enough to bring him down here. There's teleport for Vi, but just not enough time. This will be long gone for Bruce, and the teleport just comes through to get in on some of this minion, try to catch that gold wave right on back to the station, but 3 unanswered kills, 2 unanswered K in the first 6 minutes now, all to the University of Ottawa.
Yeah, and that means that the University of Ottawa, I mean, it's not an insane lead. 2K is still very commendable for 6 minutes, right? That's a very good thing to see if you're an Ottawa fan. You want them to be getting an early lead because this composition with the Zed, with the Leona, would thrive off of an early lead. They would absolutely be fantastic with any kind of an advantage. That's exactly where they're going right now, though. And with the Poppy getting a solo kill, we'd have to expect most of the pressure to be going back on the Y. If he goes down again, this lane is all but over.
Yeah, I mean, losing 3-0 as a Kled, and the good news, at least for him, is that it's a little spread out. The jungler has one of those kills, so it's not all in the hands of just Groose being this machine on top of him, but 20 CS, an assist, and the kill, not much better. And on the flip side of that, while it may be a little bit better for Y in this lane, it is certainly not better for the team as a whole that this Rek'Sai has the kill and can be taking that into consideration anywhere he goes. So Y's got to be careful. Groose level 6 above him here, of course, and just baiting out the gank. It's a nice stop up to get Aged Wizard a little bit of time, but either way, there's the stun. Groose is going to go down here, certainly, right? No! Kled didn't find it, but it's okay. Aged Wizard able to chase him back, and that'll be the Sejuani taking the kill. They wanted to give it over to Y, but at the end of the day, said, hey man, you've had enough chances. Secure this thing, or I will. Bruce is gone down. 1-1-1 binary score on the top side. Now bad news for Trap as he's trying to get out of this one. Dodges the Ezreal Q, but just not enough as the Arcane Shift is there. The auto to tag in with it, and didn't even need the last aggro play from Fizzbean. He had flash stun up that entire time and could have used it, but was
1v1 in the jungle.
Let him know his styling was good to go.
Tekko should win this pretty easily, by the way. Rek'Sai does a lot of damage.
Ooh, speaking of a lot of
Zed
damage,
ultimate.
Soon
Oh.
is done here. There is no coming back from that. The sleep just shirked right off as Turkey picks himself up another
There's the
kill.
ultimate.
Man alive, look at Ottawa go here. Tecco, this guy's insane. Just has the team.
True damage.
Doesn't care. Ooh, more
That's
to
another
come.
charge under turret. He's going to get back on his horse, maybe.
Double kill down. Beautifully done. This is a 4K gold lead at 8 minutes already. Ottawa, they are off to the races.
The Rek'Sai true damage. When she gets full rage stacks, that turns into true damage on her power Qs. She just one hit onto Agree, and he's gone, right? The boar vanishes from the map. They're going to eat well tonight because they've got so much gold in their pockets. They can buy everybody extra drinks. Looking to engage now with the ultimate onto the Karma.
Yeah, bad news for E-Girl One Trick. This is going to be the Leona just at the edge of it, and it actually goes into the hands of the Ezreal. The burn
XX
damage
styling.
at the end of that one, but Trap going to get this return kill. Almost certainly the minions will do it if the win doesn't. That one
Should get the second one if he really wants it. No, okay. She's a bit too tanky. Almost gets the second. It's determined about the timing, right? If he gets the timing and gets the ultimate down on Leona, then he can kill her. But under turret, that many stuns available. Sejuani lurking now might change that.
Just buying his time. Will get stunned under tower, but the wrong one stunned up. Wouldn't have mattered much anyway, but either way, a nice turnaround that Baltimore County are at least doing something here to try to not fall too much further behind. There's still that 4K in the hole, but a couple of kills will make them feel a little bit better about that. See if they can't turn that into a better fight or two. They're coming in onto the Rek'Sai. Tecco, the 3-0 player. He's got a juicy bounty on his head, but the Lawman does not catch up with him today. No chance of that one. And not going to be able to get in onto Mr. Turkey either. So they hold out pretty well on the side of Ottawa, just all things considered. Weathering that storm, say, hey, you know what? We suffered a little bit of a setback in this bottom lane. We're not going to stress it. Going to reset. Going to get good vision around this mountain drake that we want to take early on into things. And all the while, Bruce is just hammering away at this top lane. Look at this CS advantage. It's already 30. Hang on. More fighting to come. Styling, I don't think he's getting out of this one. That should be yet another kill onto the Ezreal. More to follow, potentially, if Trout has his way to do about it. But soon, taken out in the mid lane. Tecco, I'm sorry. Just going to get on out of there. Man, they're not giving me a chance to catch my breath. These guys
Not
are
even
just
close.
ready to duke it out any and all opportunities. I love it. This is what League of Legends is all about.
I mean, realistically, this is Ottawa just taking them to the cleaner, right? They had a couple good answer kills, right? The Yasuo certainly did get something back in the bottom lane, but the gold lead hasn't shifted, you know? It hasn't been like a massive swing. It's still 4,000 in the advantage of Ottawa. He's going to need, right? Trap's going to need to extend quite a bit more force than just what he has done if he wants to actually win this game for his team. The Yasuo, it is a hard carry champion. But to be a hard carry champ, you need to have the hard carry part, right? You need to be able to win the game nearly single-handedly, 1v9 them. Yasuo can do that. He can do that. But the problem is, he has to be given a team, or at least enough CC, to represent a team so that he can actually kill them.
It's going to be tricky when you've got advantages building all over the map for the likes of the University of Ottawa here. They're doing a really great job of diversifying what's making their team strong right now. 2 kills to the Ezreal, 2 to the Zed. Top lane, the CS mountain that is building up. I mean, it's just devastating. Mid lane, no slouch either when you take a look at it. This Zed is quite far ahead. Would be the center point of the game if not for top. It's a little bit more than it feels like a Yasuo can handle, at least off the rip. I mean, they need to get him to hyper carry stage. Just, you know, one big team fight, get him massively in the lead where he can start to kind of 1v9, let alone the 1v5 or 5v5 situations that would benefit him here. But it's a tall order. Maybe some of that starts with shutting down some of these disadvantages they have, like Turkey here in this mid lane. If they can get the kill on him, they'll feel good about that. But Tecco threatening them on back off just says, hang on. This is not the fight you want to take today, and it's bought enough time for Bisping to get in here with the Leona, so we see a full 5-on-5 breakout. It's certainly going to be favoring the likes of this Ottawa composition. Instead, they want the pick. They're going to get it in onto Trap, almost certainly Styling doing just that with a downtown ultimate to lock up the kill. That's E-Girl going to go down as well as Bruce gets right into the face of the enemy.
Went too far.
Not what you were looking for there. Maybe could have got out with his life, but just walked right into the lion's den this time. And there was no biblical Daniel story where he was spared. The starving lions this time turned it right on its head, took him right on out. And at 13 minutes, tower number 1.
Don't walk into the zoo at feeding time. What can I say?
Oof, nice. Shadow dash out of that one. Avoids the ultimate. A little tricky on his head. You know I flash up anyway, but Age Wizard said you miss 100% of the shots. You don't take the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott combo. For this hockey player, Sejuani, right around the corner. This tower not going to last long.
Yeah, with the tower going down, so too does the gold rise for Ottawa. Now they can turn their attention to the rest of the outer turrets. Remember, that was 5 plates in a row. Their bottom lane, they're going to get a couple more plates at the very least, I think. Okay, backing off 1 plate only. Still, they've taken all the plates top except for the turret, and they've taken 1 bot, 5 mid. That's a pretty good count on plates. It's 9 or 10 total. I think 10, including that 1 on the bottom lane. And that's a bunch of extra gold, right? It's the reason they're 8,000 gold up now. They're trying to gank the Yasuo trap, 1 versus 2.
Oh man, trying to get out of this one trap. Maybe trapped himself this time around the wind wall. Not going to do enough for him as Tekko rampages on through and adds a cool 100 gold to that bounty. 750, 850. Make it. Why not at the end of the day here? He's going to be happy enough with that. Turret plating has fallen. No more plates. This is not the Golden Corral. You can't just keep loading up and loading up and loading up. 1 plate per person.
Or Old Country Buffet for those of you who might be from another area.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm showing a little bit of my my location here with that one, but just
actually, I think most places in the country probably have a Golden Corral.
I feel like, yeah.
I think Old Country Buffet is a much more regional thing, if I had to guess.
I don't know. I feel like the Rust Belt is just so quintessentially Golden Corral. I
feel like there's so many buffets everywhere, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does Old Country Buffet even exist anymore?
I couldn't tell you. I have no
anyway,
idea.
I can tell you, though, ZoMG Turkey's looking for a huge piece of Soon.
Soon might not exist anymore either after this one comes through. It's a
pretty
nice
soon, some might say.
To shake that one off, but at the end of the day, what can it do? Well, Russ slaps down the tower in the top line, just wants to get out of that one.
Nice
now
stun.
Y is in some real trouble. It's a great knock-up as well, but has to get to the blast cone if he wants any chance of survival. It's a good juke. He thought he was going, one way over the wall. Instead came back the other one.
Poppy stalls W in 2 seconds to speed up and slam in 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the lack of any kind of meaningful boots coming down now for Y there. They take him out. Nicely done. 4-14. Only 15 minutes on this clock. But it's a 9K gold lead for the University of Ottawa. They are just rampaging through this particular team. Baltimore County trying their damnedest, and they might get a tower out of this one, but it's certainly going to be at least 1 death on down. We grow 1 trick, row trap as well, just trying to get the ult back. Styling actually does a hell of a lot of damage. You're kidding me that he was able to turn that one. The teleport, though, should seal this fate, right? Fizzbean still there, and Groose easily enough to take it on down. The killing spree, 550 on the locks there. That's the bounty just on the head of this particular Poppy as they're popping off. Ready to come down for a little bit more action. Dragon 16 seconds away.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be their next focus. I think that Ottawa are just trying, at this point, to occupy themselves until they get to the next drag. But maybe... Oh, what dodge by Zed!
Nicely done, but Turkey, can you get out of this one? Or are you going to be
bubble.
Thanksgiving dinner here soon? If he has anything to say about it, we'll try to make it happen, but is instantly collapsed on. I don't think you can just put that kind of disrespect out into the world. And now Aged Wizard and get aged a couple years quicker there. It's the machine from Princess Bride, just taking years off your life one at a time. And that's another one taken out soon. And Aged Wizard, 7 deaths between them. Just a drop in the bucket of the 18 total. Just sitting on this team, so proportional. Everyone's got 3 or 4 here. It's a really nice split. I mean, look at the University of Ottawa. Everyone's getting fed here. Everyone's getting strong. And consequentially, everyone on the University of Baltimore County, Maryland-Baltimore County, is falling further behind.
This is starting to be a little bit dangerous, right? Actually, I shouldn't say starting. It's already really dangerous. 10k gold lead, 17 minutes in. This is what some would call a stomp of a game, and there's good reason for it, right? With the Rift Herald not even dropped, 3 turrets down, and only 3 turrets down, but still another 7,000 gold in their hands. An insane lead to actually comprehend, given the actual advantages that they've gained that are just objectives, right? As soon as they start pushing for more objectives, they have all of the gold, all the items in the world to just roll people over.
I mean, the standing gold of towers is going to add so much to this. It does continue to start to fall, and really doesn't look like UMBC are going to be able to do much to get it back. This beam is what they want. It's a nice wind wall to block that one off, and likely going to mean Leona going to go down here. They're trying to get a little bit more out of it. She's actually out thus far in Turkey. Some fancy work. At least gets one out of that. It's going to be a second, though. He does trade his life for it. Egro one trick going to go down, though. This is styling. He's just been on the outskirts of this one soon, in no position to survive this one. And, well, they want the ace. If they can get wide, that's going to do it. Yeah, Groose is just there to lock it on down, hammering away at this. Under minions, under tower, under fire. Does not care. The only thing he's under is a deadline to end this game as quickly as he possibly can. This guy's just moving and grooving.
You'd have to imagine that this is just going to be it, right? There were times last Tuesday, right, where I thought maybe there could be comeback. This series has none of those. It's just the first game, at least. Ottawa have displayed absolute dominance. I mean, the picks themselves, they were very okay, right? I think the Poppy might even be sliding back more into meta. We're seeing people kind of sort of response or blind pick it almost for the top lane. That's besides the point, though. Point is, this is such a massive gold lead, right? The smite staking away, Teko gets that buff. He does have a level advantage, a huge one, in fact, 3 levels up over Aged Wizard. And now he is the one with the experience, he is the one with the knowledge advantage, and his knowledge is that this game is going to end soon, if he has anything to say about it.
We're knocking on the door of 20 minutes. If there were Baron, of course, I mean, just, you think uncontested, right? That's the Rift Herald getting popped. They know they're on the timer for it. They need to lock that one down, see what kind of effect it has. Egro one trick, and get tricked right on out of this one. The ultimate just to lock it down, but actually the death mark, not enough there, or yes, was enough finally at the end. I thought with the potential of the stopwatch, realized there was not one. Damage could not follow through, and he just used that as a method of getting on, like a late game ignite almost there, and that's okay for him. The Baron coming live, that's what they want to tag on here. That's what they're really coming for at the end of the day. They know they don't need it to secure the win, but, well, it would make things a lot easier, so.
Opting for quite a fast Baron. I think that this is fantastic timing. You take a look at where the Rift Herald is, it has to be stopped. If you don't stop Shelly, you don't have a chance. It's going to take free turrets. So when they have to send one down there, when they have no vision to check this, at any point this Baron could be started, and they don't really have any options, right? The only thing UMBC has is time. They just have to wait. They have to see. Now that they see that the Baron is already down, they know that this game is going to get even more difficult than it already was, because now they have to clear Baron waves with a Yasuo as their main wave.
This is 15k gold down. 20 minutes. I mean, just a little bit more. And they'll literally have 1k a minute as their ratio here for the gold lead that they've been building. That's just insanity in this particular meta of League of Legends. But Ottawa, they're on fire right now, and they can continue this one out. This may be the last-ditch effort. If Aged Wizard is able to push him off, but the tower goes down all the same. It's a nice wind wall to stop up Bruce and actually put him to sleep, keeping him on his toes at least for just a moment. This being a little low there, too. They want to continue in with more. There's Kled trying to come in with the charge. They want to get everything they can out of this, but another tower is down in the top lane. More to come, perhaps, as that's a Yasuo coming in with the ultimate. Doesn't matter. Bruce unstoppable. Just fights right on through it, and the Zed on the back line. That's a double kill already. Kled falling to him. Aged Wizard going to go down as well. Teko finds that one. And soon the last man standing shall fall as well. No, not quite. Styling wants to go for it and ends up giving up his own life in return, but the inhibitors, they're falling. The towers, what can they do? I mean, this is madness, but it's madness all to the tune of Ottawa's war drum as they beat it senselessly. Oh. Devastating. They'll have to back, but that's absolutely the game. I mean, they've just crippled every last ounce of hope that Baltimore County may have had here.
This is, I mean, what can you really do to stop this, right? It just seems like everything is going in their favor.
Man alive, I mean, you have the Yasuo, and he's sitting here saying, at least I got some kills this game, right? But how do I keep up next game? I mean, 4-6-2, it's not a bad score. In fact, he's ahead in CS there. The 165, maybe not the best it could be for, 22 minutes or so into this one, but you compare it to everybody else in the game. Okay, You know, you've obviously established Trap. He's not your problem here. But even so, because the advantages are getting built up everywhere else on the map, he's going to fall so far behind. Just with what Styling's going to be able to do as the game just continue to progress. Look at that! Look at how little of a chance he just stood right there.
It's just nothing. It's gone.
Would have been kited into oblivion without the intervention from Turkey. Turkey really making it more of a mercy killing there. Just said, you know what, this is a service to you, my friend. Well, either way, now the tower's falling violently in the bot lane. Groose says, you know, I don't even need to worry about this one. We've got 2 open inhibs. We've got minions coming down. This Nexus is what we really have our eyes set on. 1 tower brutally low. 1 tower, well, 3 Mountain Drakes are going to make it not long for this world either. This is, you know, possibly the real last-ditch effort here. Lisbon wants to get in with as much as he can. Trying to get a little bit more out of that one. Another one down. It's a double kill so far from Techo. No fountain dodge just yet, but they're getting awfully close. Just toying with their food before they eat it. Not even worried about these Nexus towers. The minions are doing all the work there. Well, Groose just finishes the job. Hammers the last nail in one final time, and this is devastation. But Ottawa are controlling every last ounce of it here, and that's going to be certainly the game. They're just trying to pad their scores out a little bit. Age Wizard going to go down soon, trying to do what he can, but it's Fizzbeam at the end of the day, drowsily half asleep, locking down this game in 24 minutes. The University of Ottawa go 1-up in this series. The GGs come down, and they absolutely smash Baltimore County in this first game. Whew. What do you even say about that? I mean, you know, normally this is the point where we start to look ahead towards the rest of the series, talk about adaptations that you can make. There are so many now in front of Baltimore County that you got to wonder if that didn't rattle the cage just a little bit too hard.
I have one adaptation. There's only one. It's going to change the outcome of a game like that. Get good.
Get good.
That's it.
Woof,
So let me put it this way, right? You can have bad games. If your potential was not there, that wasn't your potential, you have a better way to play, you have a better chance, a better strategy, maybe comms were off, whatever it was, right? You can just reset mentally, go back to your actual most skilled play style, you have a chance to win. But the question is, was that the peak of UMBC, right? We don't know. I've literally got nothing else. We're just going to have to wait and see if UMBC has anything else stored away, tucked away in some drawer marked emergency use only, right? If they have to break the glass in this one, I think now is the time to do it.
Well, we're going to give them that chance to come back, adapt, and see what they can do in game number 2, best of 3 series, of course. So we'll see if they can kind of rally around themselves and push this to a third game, do the impossible here. If it's just going to be Ottawa cruising in style to the round of 32. We'll have more League of Legends right after this break.
Like you do.
Wait, hair?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us through the break, as we've just seen Ottawa deal a devastating blow to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. We'll see if these Cats can bounce back, or if it's going to be another cool Canadian cruise on into the round of 32.
Seem to have a lot of that recently, right? Maybe it's all the fjords they've been practicing in, or maybe these overland boats they call dog sleds are finally working and on time.
We'll see if our northern neighbors, can close this one out. It's a really strong game number 1 here. We saw, of course, UBC as well on Tuesday, scooting on through.
Want me to wait while you go get them?
Some, Canadian bragging rights here on the line, but this is where Baltimore County, Maryland, it's a revolution state. They want to dig deep, wave the American flag, and come back into this one. It'll be tough, but the Poppy ban away from Gruce, it's a first step, right? Wise going to say, at least we can try to get something back on the board here.
It's certainly a big ask, right? They need to not only come back, but they need to do it in a way that allows them freedom of actually being able to play the game. They haven't been able to play the game, right? That was just Ottawa saying, this is our game, right? If they don't have extra depth, if they don't have extra strategy, you will just see the same thing over again. We have to look at this first pick, though. I don't actually know what Ottawa are going to go for here because of all the bans that have come out. I'm expecting something that's aggressive, something that defines the game. Maybe it's a jungler, maybe it's an AD, maybe it's a mid, but it has to be something that has huge impact in the current meta.
Went for the Ezreal last game. This time,
Rek'Sai again.
Yeah, they want the Rek'Sai. They know that Tecco can play this thing like a monster in the early game, and he's going to be happy to do it this time around. No Ivern to turn it back on its head this time either, and no Yasuo first pick, so the Ezreal going to be something they attempt for trap. Take that away from Stylings. He styled on them with that one last time, so want it back in their pockets, want it back in their hands, and they say, we may not be able to hold out, we might, but this is at least one step back in that direction, and I would be very surprised but excited to see Udyr locked in here. That's an interesting one for Aged Wizard.
Yeah, the Udyr is, I'm not so sure it's going to be able to keep up with Rek'Sai. The clear speed of the Rek'Sai is insane. I think the Udyr, not so much. We're going to have to see where it actually pans out, but I'm not expecting him to be able to keep up with the clear speed. We'll have to see how his pathing looks, right? That's the real interesting part.
Caitlyn locking down now here for styling. He feels comfortable on this one, wants the range, wants that classic AD feel, and he's been doing it well thus far. I mean, he played such a mean Ezreal in game number 1 here, and we'll see what they lock in here just before they do go to the second round of bans, and that'll be the Leona yet again. Fizbean playing it really well, definitely to the limits of that champion last time around, so not afraid to pick it up here. Says, okay, I get Ezreal's a little bit slippier, but I'm just going to take this one to the bank anyway, and we'll see if now Baltimore County draft with this in mind. Anything, I think they go for a little bit more mobility, but the Vigar, something that may just, hey, the magic calls to you, the magic calls to you.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you want to talk about calling to you, right? It's in short supply, admittedly, right? But maybe if they had a stool to stand on, then UMBC could find a way to make themselves up to the height of Ottawa, right? Especially their mid. It just seems that he just doesn't measure up, in terms of the abilities. And since I'm all out of puns on the height of Vhagar, we're going to go back to our ban phase.
You going to tell me you came up short on your list?
Yeah, for some reason, it was just not to be found. Syndra's removed, Victor's removed, both non-traditional Vhagar counters, but still very strong against him. They're both burst mages, they both have range advantages, they both have wave clear advantages. You can see where we're going with this. I'm going to expect, at some point, they're going to try and pick...
I recommend skipping.
Oh, most likely, it has to be... Wait, the Zed is banned. I was going to get really worried, right? Really worried if they didn't ban Zed, but they did ban, Xerath, Victor, Syndra, spending 4 bans on mid. Seems like a lot, but we gotta imagine that there's more picks to come out. Kassadin exists. You can pick things like Echo even. Yazir, certainly not my first choice, but it could work out.
Well, maybe the LeBlanc is what they want to pick up at the end of the day. Always done well in skill matchups where you feel like you may just have that edge over your opposing laner. Well, that's what Turkey is going to feel like he's taken to the table against soon here this time around. Knows it's Vigard, knows that he can run straight into that one. So they'll leave their top lane to be the counter pick. To be taken out and away by the hands of Maryland, Baltimore County here. It's all just to decide what that top lane champion will be. I'd like to see something that really ties this composition together quite well. And the Jace, they're just going for speed on this composition. Built for speed, not comfort. There's Jace in the top side, Bruce. He played a mean Poppy in it, and you might look at this composition and say, it could use a little bit more utility tank if Rek'Sai is going to be building the same way as last game. Something in that top laner that could fit that groove a little better, but the Jace this time around just tells me they know. They feel like they've got the advantage. They want to run it down. The Renekton will be the answer to that, and that can get topsy-turvy either direction very quickly, depending on the two players, the summoners in the top side. So we'll see what they can make happen here. But if it's anything like last game, Bruce is going to be on the aggression, full stock the whole way through. And I'm very interested in seeing this one shake up here.
I mean, you got to think Jace Renekton matchup is the one to watch, because the LeBlanc shouldn't have full access to the Veigar, right? The LeBlanc should be under pressure. The LeBlanc shouldn't have, an easy time winning. She should be looking at some kind of a difficult matchup coming at her way. This shouldn't be just cut and dried, instant win mid lane. However, if it is cut and dried and instant, bot lane wins because it's Caitlyn. Top lane probably wins because it's Jace. It's not a guarantee. Renekton can outplay this lane, but it requires a couple misplays on the part of the Jace, right?
And you have to think,
Renekton stun, the instant it goes off, your E should be channeled, and it should knock him away anyway. If that happens, he doesn't get the free Q, right? That's his huge combo. Dash, stun, 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 Q whirl, dash. You look like you're, seizing up as he just kind of whirls the blade around like this. That's my fantastic Renekton impression. Feel free to steal and impress at parties with it. This is the lane. Top lane doesn't go well. If mid lane doesn't go well, look for these solo lanes, because that's where UMBC have a chance to win.
That's where they want to find it, so UMBC, they got a lot of ground to make up in this series. The 23-minute victory, 24 or so, that was all in the hands of the University of Ottawa. Speed demons locking this one on through. It was a short game. We'll see now if there's anything that Baltimore County can do to kind of hold this one out and through. They've got a lot on their plate to deal with. They've drafted a better composition for themselves this time around. So we'll see if the execution is there or if they're just mentally broken from this last time around. They got a lot of pressure from that last game. It never feels good to get manhandled in a game of League of Legends like that, right? And it can certainly derail entire series for teams that do not have the special kind of skill set, I would say, to maintain an even and level head through that kind of adversity.
Yeah, this is, it's all about, just Renekton, a little bit of damage. Okay, not as much as we expected. The electrocute did tickle him a bit, but not that bad overall. Remember, Renekton still can heal. It is a ranged versus melee matchup, though. Renekton doesn't have the advent of the Corrupting Potion, so the more poke he takes, the more it's going to stick. This is going to be a dangerous matchup for him. If he gets poked down too early before he hits level 2, he won't actually be able to engage with the combo, because when he does, he'll just die.
Wants to get the pressure he needs there. The combo's so difficult to pull into a lane. You just have to put that respect on the lane. So, what he picked into this, though. This is his decision. And it was the last pick against the Jace. He knew the Jace would be going to the top side. So, maybe just feels confident enough on this, especially if H is trying and get this Eagle gank off early. There's the slice. There's the guy that dies in, but Thought maybe Udo was coming a little earlier, was not at the end of the day. Turkey and soon trade back and forth, a little bit of a beat down on one another. No huge surprises there. See, CS starts building. The lead starts kind of turning into something here. University of Ottawa, 3 minutes in. Time around last game, we were already starting to draw some of that first blood pressure, and once they did, they never looked back, so this has got to be...
Ooh, watch this Udyr.
Yeah, a UMBC that's on their guard from the start, and not quite with the event horizon. Doesn't come down where it needs to, and just a little bit of a misplay. They would have had Turkey in a really dangerous position if they were able to chain that CC, but it just didn't happen this time around, and now Tico's in the area. This side could prove threatening. Already at the blue buff before H Wizard. Here's Turkey over the wall as well. I think Wizard's out of that one okay, though.
This is, again, H Wizard, right? He tries to go in. It's LeBlanc. Super mobile, hyper-aggressive champion. You can't catch him with Udyr, right? That's another problem with his pick. In the mid lane, one lane you're desperate to win. If you can't actually effectively gank the enemy mid, you can't be spending your time there, right? It's just not worth it. Even if he is pressuring your mid, the most you should be doing is making an appearance just to get him to back off, right? Maybe that is what he was doing. It did spend a couple more seconds than he really want to. Russ getting low now.
Yeah, actually, good damage from the Rectin coming out wide, showing a little bit of a sign of life in a lane where he's not been animated at all since the very beginning of the first game, but Chris learning from that, that's the level advantage, slaps him with a level 2 shot blast there, and doinks him down just a little bit, making him think twice about it. This Renekton will be able to sustain through some of this, of course, but now you can tell the pressure building in this bot lane is being a force to be reckoned with. So you never know when it's just going to trigger right against you. But this early on, you might be lulled into a bit of a false sense of security here, and being shoved under tower. As a Morgana, Eagle Winter knows that that Tormented Sword is going to be your best friend as long as your AD can still manage to get that CS. It does get a little tricky sometimes burning down the CS for ADs that aren't as used to playing with Morganas here. So Trap doing one of the better jobs on his team, keeping up in that CS, but look at that pressure, just being forced to call for the Black Shield just by a couple clicks forward from Frisbee.
Again, this is still, right? It's still a very difficult time for basically most of the side of UMBC, right? They're down CS, they're getting pressured. Even in this, top lane with Necton seems to have damage advantage, he can't just find it, right? He has to trade, he has to push in, is down CS because of it, because his back timing is slightly off, even with the teleport. Now, the Jace wants to go in.
He wants to find it here. I don't know if he can do it without the help, but luckily for him, Echo is here. Doesn't find it.
Here's bot.
Yeah, ooh, that's going to be actually a nice back in, and that's going to be first blood coming down now into the hands of UMBC. Baltimore County actually find a double kill off the back of this Udyr. H-Wizard making the right play happen at the right time, but we'll see if it doesn't get answered back soon. In some trouble to flash out. Means he will survive, and Turkey taking quite a bit of a beating on the nose there, so all in all, not so bad. H-Wizard trying to get a little bit more, but this is the signs of life that we've wanted to see out of Baltimore County.
Finally, they're finding some purchase. They've got some damage, they've got some kills. The Ezreal finally has his nemesis go down. The Caitlyn can't actually just rule the roost of bottom lane anymore. That's a great thing to see. That's fantastic. It shows that they're not just giving up. Mentally, remember, we talk about mental fortitude all the time. It's so important. At a collegiate level, mental fortitude oftentimes is what determines games, right? When players are extremely high ranked, the reason they get there is because they are not just good players, right? You can find mechanically good players in Diamond 2. You can find people that are easily able to beat your laners for the most part. Well, maybe not. High challengers is a different story, but at least for JV, right? You can find mechanically diverse players all over there. What you need to find is somebody who has the consistency to continually deliver on those performances.
Consistency, something that, well, easy to say that UMBC have been lacking in this series. If they can have the right player up at the right time, the lucky team over a consistent team in the series. This time, though, shut down. No luck. It was the 6-keeper Age Wizard. He's taken out and away. Locked down the first kill back into the hands of the University of Ottawa here this time around. It goes over to Techo. Early lead to the rec side. Would feel pretty good, but you draw a line against your counterpart. It's not there yet. Why, however? May go down here. Yeah, Bruce very low to the minion, but still did make it out at the end of the day there and buys some time for his team to take the Dragon as well, unnoticed. 2 for 2. Dragon, familiar advantages starting to build for Ottawa here. The tower still, only 8 minutes into the game.
With no turrets and an evened up kill score, you have to think UBC might need to firm up their grasp on this game a bit, right? The CS leads are starting to grow in the jungle. It's not fantastic looking for them. I think, in particular, it's not super dangerous, but it's just not beneficial, right? UMBC, they need their Ezreal to scale, they need their Veigar especially to scale, and they want their Renekton to potentially get a couple kills. So send the Udyr to your top, have him pressure, force Techco to respond, and then at that point, maybe, just maybe, your mid laner isn't dead.
That would be, the best case scenario. Actually, the ult.
No flash. Veigar was thinking about that ult.
Ooh, yeah,
That flash of it.
The Q tagging onto the clone between us last second, I think, probably locked that one down as well. So, just playing kind of the edges of this one. That's going to be a nice snare up. He's going to be able to slap down on Soon there. Does answer back with the ult, and actually, that's going to be Soon getting back just a 1-for-1 kill, but why now going to be in some real trouble. Not going to get out of that one is Bruce. 2-0. Now really starting to find his way again into this game. Locking down. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Z-Girl one trick. Taken on out and away. No chance to survive that one. Now the real siege is starting to happen. Now we see Baltimore County to answer something back with a side. The mid lane Techo feels like he can't do much about it just yet, but give it 5-10 more seconds and we'll have Zombie there as well. Meanwhile, the aggression still just raging on in this bottom lane, all to the side of University.
Yeah, and that's certainly a little bit of a worrisome thing, right? The last time Ottawa got a slight lead, they just started to run away with the game. This time, at 10 minutes, right? Last time at 10 minutes, they had a 4,000 gold lead. This time, not so much, right? They're now only, 1,000 gold up. This is very recoverable. This is a manageable scenario. I like the more early game focus UMBC has put onto this, and it kind of shuts down the major advantages we saw from Ottawa, right? Which is their ability to take a lead and run with it. So if you don't give them a lead, they can't just run with it, surely, right? So now they're making them work for it. And we'll have to see what Ottawa actually chooses to do, because if they don't, obviously, Veigar is just going to scale.
You can do what you can to make sure you don't give up a lead, but a team like Ottawa, their last performance is anything to go off of. They'll just take it from you, and when you least expect it, maybe here in the river, if Pressure's on Turkey gonna make it happen. It's the very edge of that skill shot. Age Wizard goes down yet again, and now the Rollins top footer and Ekin soon has to flash over this one. Turkey read it a mile away, and he does get beat up pretty badly for it. He does get full credit at the end of the day, and that's what he wanted anyway. Now just Ego one trick all alone to try to hold out this tower. Caitlyn traps behind enemy lines. That's where the bad news comes in, is I don't think Morgana with just a stealthy and a broken stopwatch can do too much about it. Jack Sparrow style. Compass not pointing north right now. What can you do? Well, you can wait for Trap, he's back into the lane. He's really not that far back on things when you think about it. The 1 kill and 7 CS. Not the biggest of separators in this lane. The problem is this level 7 Caitlyn with just the threat of the owner being able to dive bomb you any and every time they want. I mean, that's not going to matter how close his goal he is. This Caitlyn with the DF sword is able to keep the pressure alive and well on all fronts. He's got Uber coming in for a game, so it's really good.
Oh, Zomji Turkey, close.
Yeah.
Not finding much there in the mid lane, but again, right? More kills come out, more time UMBC spends, forcing them to get here. Vi, watch his health bar. He has to watch himself, because if he doesn't, This Jace is going to take absolute advantage of that. Remember when Gruss went on walked all over him last game? Now, destroys the first turret before the plates even go away. That means he is getting a fantastic amount of gold up in that top lane. He is still going to try and pressure this in, but there's not much he has left to do up there. He can actually recall, force towards this dragon, and start the real teamfight part of this game.
There's a couple nice bounties built up over on the side of the University of Ottawa, and there's solo lanes in particular.
Watch this, baby.
Locked in the middle of this cage. I have to be careful. He can down pretty low, but not as low as Age Wizard, who actually dies credit going to Fizbean this time around. More to come.
Flash forwards.
Not getting out of that one a bit. 13 minutes on the clock here. Just another 2 taken out and away. This time the mid and jungle victims of Ottawa, and Dark Binding just on the edge does not.
No Dark Binding. Zombie Turkey could literally just kill him here.
Yeah, Turkey's in so much just absolute
One auto attack. One auto attack kills him.
We'll see.
He should walk the other way.
See if Eagle can get out of this one alive. That's a nice snare up, and the minions are there. Have to be careful. That's
Caitlyn's
just
walking in.
Styling knew exactly what to do and how to do it. Didn't even waste the ace in the hole. Instead, saved
Now
it
he got
this time. That's the double kill. Lock him down. And man alive. Tower's going to start to fall. Dragons are out of that one. That's a second mountain drake.
We talked about not giving over a lead, but this wasn't given over. It's just UBC. They force it out. They know exactly what they have to do when they have to do it. Look at this. Another snare through the turret. They come, and XX Styling takes the turret down for good measure. I mean, what can you do when he's playing like this? When the entire team is playing like this from Ottawa?
Ottawa making a statement here. I feel like anyone who's got them coming up next is watching them doing their homework and saying, okay, you know what, this is a force to be reckoned with, this team. Maybe the Rift Herald taken out. We'll see which direction they do decide to pop it in. Maybe just a little mid lane here, but good news is they have some time as well. Not too worried about what they're going to do. Instead, wanting to find a kill on the Soon with Vigar. New places to run, but it's not connecting. Doesn't matter because Teko just sticks on him like glue. And makes life so hard for Sue. That's the third death for this Vigar. He showed signs of life. Really promising start to the game, but at this point, when the other enemy teams are so far ahead, what can you really start to do except using your cage defensively, trying to farm that Q as best you can, but under your own tower, the pickings get fewer and further between.
Yeah, this is it's getting kind of dangerous almost, right? It's like 8k gold, 15 minutes. I think we've heard this song and dance before, and dodging out. Zomji Turkey again sidesteps what E-Girl throws. This is, at this point, right, Ottawa seem to be taking advantage of this game just like they did the last one. The Udyr is now in danger as well.
Any position to try to get out of this one alive, and actually the Graveyard there is going to be helpful. The rest of the team rallies around him.
Drawn ultimate, not caught.
Fizbean, he's just trying to stay alive, trying to deal damage where he can, and Turkey on the rampage means that Morgana taking out and away. Positioning was just wrong for you today. And Soon, what are you doing, pal? Wanted to walk in and what? Just auto-click a Q ult combo, but I mean, kind of scuffed that one pretty badly. This is another Rift Herald in onto yet another tower. We went from a relatively quiet start of around 8 minutes now to double that time, 16 minutes on the clock, and the inhibitors are already falling. The Rift Herald's just in the base, just like that. I mean, we've got another 11k gold lead at 16 minutes. This Ottawa team is insane, Zayden.
This is absolutely nuts. 16 minutes, 35 seconds in, and they are looking to end the game right now. The Rift Herald just has to charge onto the Nexus, turning around from the last one, but they're knocking up Vagar.
Get a little bit more. Teko does get that one out and about. This is Wizard trying to just get a point on the scoreboard here, but Styling does not fall for it. And
that
you're
it?
Kidding me? Are we going to see this in sub 17 minutes? No way. They have to back off, especially with that shutdown. That's going to be some gold given back over. Only one still with a high bounty on his head now is that almost 1,000 gold of Teko. He's going to preserve that. But this game certainly can't go on much longer. We talked about, this time last game, they were backing off to get Baron to secure it and finally finish that round. They may have this one and done before that's even an option.
This is... getting to be very, very, very disheartening. 10k disadvantage, 13 minutes, 17 minutes in, with a 13 kill differential. And that's, I mean, UMBC, sure, they're farming the jungle, they've got some items, but Caitlyn has items too, and Caitlyn's items are better than Ezreal's items at the same point in the game. He's gone for a Triforce, which takes even longer to activate, to get online. And with only a Nexus remaining, no Nexus towers. The next push, I mean, it should be the last. Timers
sneaking over the wall at any given point, right?
But like, timers are so short, right? Just sneaking over might not be enough. You know, you need to get a couple kills. But even last time, right? I didn't think that they should be able to get 2 turrets during that, but they just kept pushing the advantage, kept getting more and more and more for themselves. It just works out. It's crazy.
Ottawa not knowing when to quit in the best of ways when they've got a lead. And hasn't been on just yet. We'll see if it does come back to. They've got this double Mountain Drake right now. They've actually had triple Mountain Drakes in the last game. Been nothing but helpful here for taking out these towers so early on, and count their blessings just a little bit with that, I'm sure, but you know what, here comes the pressure. That's going to be getting in on the Age Wizard. He's down. Russ finds that. That's the ace in the hole. It's going to tag soon, get him to about half health. They're already rotating. Superman is going to get now to the Nexus. It's going to be connected wide. Tony back to get that one off, and they're just going to run all the way around the semicircle of this base. Straight to where they need to, straight to where the minion line are, because they know they can end right on through. Age Wizard still down about 10 seconds soon. Gonna be the next one to fall. Tekko unstoppable, trying to get on through. It's only his GA that's gonna be popped here. It's Fizbeam. Make sure that Wivey's gonna fall. That's gonna be another one on the E-Girl. Trap is so low, and he goes down. That's not quite the ace, because Age Wizard respawns. But I'll tell you, won't come back as anyone from the side of UMBC in this series. It is taken down. University of Ottawa absolutely slams this.
That's it. That's it. That's the game. We thought that maybe they could come back. Maybe they had a little bit left. Turns out they didn't. It was just UMBC's time to go, and University of Ottawa showed them the door quite handily. 19-minute victory.
Oof. Maybe
even possibly a 17-minute victory. They really didn't want to push the issue, though, and so we'll give it to them. 19-minute victory, one of the fastest we've ever seen. And in the round of 64, what a statement to make going to the round of 32 playoffs.
Yeah, whoever's got Ottawa coming up next on this bracket, hopefully they're watching this video, doing their homework, learning a thing or two, because for Baltimore County, they had to learn this lesson firsthand, and it was a rough one. Either way, not much more to say about that game. It's just the powerhouse from Ottawa.
It's crazy, right?
Yep.
That was... They seem to have not just like power, right? They have power, they have mechanical skill, but they have this innate sense of a go button on the team, right? Whoever's shot calling or whatever it is, where they just go from 0 to 100 instantly. It's not 0 to 60, it's faster than that. And all of a sudden, you just see the game and it's over. There's nothing left. The game's over, the series is over, it's a quick 2-0. I gotta say, crazy, crazy work by Ottawa.
Really well done. So we're going to congratulate them. We'll see them hopefully a little bit later on. Don't know if we'll get that game on broadcast as we do get into the round of 32. That's going to kick off our March Madness here, the CSL's version of it, as we got a lot of playoff games coming around to rip and rack on through. But that's going to do it for us. Of course, I'm Kyle Corvus Crow. That's Jeff Zeta Schnurr. You can follow us on Twitter. Give us your feedback. Those are our handles below our lovely talking heads here. We'll be back next Tuesday. A little bit more League of Legends action coming your way as we do continue. But for tonight, if you don't get your feel of esports yet, we got Counter-Strike Global Offensive coming up as the collegiate esports all continues to roll on. That's all here on Twitch TV/C Star League. And of course, I think one last shout out to this before we lose it forever. You can follow C Star League on Twitter and CSL LOL on Twitter. If you retweet today, there might still be time. I don't know. I've not looked at it to win. The winner is chosen at the end of February. That's today, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't done this yet, please do keep up with everything we're doing on here as well. But for myself and Zeta here, of course, and everyone else at the C Star League, we want to wish you a good night, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.